Hi, welcome. It is the end of the second week of this project slash experiment situation. I don't really know what I'm calling it, but anyway, it's the end of the second week where I am every morning, Monday to Friday, writing for 30 minutes and aiming to write 500 words each morning. And last week was really great, very surprising. The amount of words that I managed to write, the fact that I managed to write 35% of the words that took me 6 months to write in a sporadic fashion or based on vibes. So I think that was really surprising. Also encouraging to say, you know, like slow and steady wins the race. A slow plodding along, you'll get there. Week 2 was something else. It was something else entirely. So the week started off really well. I woke up and I wrote on Monday morning and I managed to get 606 words, which isn't amazing, but it is more than my 500 words that I aim for. And I also don't want to push myself into getting into that mindset of like, oh, just write 10,000 words. You know what I'm saying? The aim is 500. I did 606, which was great. But even as I was writing, the story was not going in the particular direction it's supposed to be going. Like I said, I write with landmarks and it was not going to the next landmark. So I kind of was feeling that I was going to have to do some light editing slash culling and starting the story again, which it's such a tense thing about writing. And because you did spend time and effort into putting those words, so I could feel that on Monday morning that I was gonna have to do some editing, and not, I don't want to say editing in the sense that the section that I had written slash maybe even the previous sections were just not working. So on Monday afternoon, I figured out a thing and I rewrote some things. And so I wrote twice on Monday, which was really great because Tuesday was such a hot mess. Such a major hot mess. I was distracted. And I guess the whole thing of having to delete words really did a number on me. It was a setback, and I find it kind of difficult. I find it difficult to start again after a setback. For instance, when I am writing, what am I saying when I'm writing? When I am running and I start walking in the middle of the run, then I find it really difficult to start running again. And this is a similar thing where it's not a major setback, but it's still having to gain that momentum again, to be like, okay, cool, you had a bit of a setback, start again. So Tuesday was not the day where I did that. Tuesday, I simply deleted the section that wasn't working and put in the section that I'd written on Monday afternoon. And I did no writing on Tuesday. I was doing this editing whilst half watching a Korean drama. So that just shows you that Tuesday was not the day. Tuesday was not the day. There was just so little focus. It was just a mess. It was a hot mess. Anyway, with the cancellation and stuff, I got a net word count of 198 words, even though I technically did write 616 words. And these technically written 616 words were not written on Tuesday. So Tuesday me gets 0 because I really wrote 0 words. At most, probably what I had to do was kind of like add an and or whatever to just, you know, make the sections that I was putting together flow. But I did no writing on Tuesday, which is just tense. It's just tense. It was not a good day. But anyway, on Wednesday, we woke up again and we tried again. And I did sit down and do my 30 minutes. And so I wasn't so much in my head about it because I had already done the deletion and was simply continuing from what I had written. And so on Wednesday, I got 815 words, which I do love it. I do love it when I write and I get into the 800s. I have not as yet made it to the 900s. So anyway, I wrote 815 words, and then on Thursday I wrote 846 words, which was going really well. And but even as I was writing these sections, I also could see, and like what I'm trying to do isn't happening. So all this to preempt week 3, because it's just, I don't, because I do think there is some deleting that might have to happen, and I really just do not like deleting words that I've written. I just want to keep writing, but obviously you can't keep writing, like you can't keep going down a road that is wrong. You actually have to go back and start again. But anyway, I did write. I wrote on Wednesday, I wrote on Thursday, and then on Friday I was back to the 600s and I wrote 688 words. All of this getting me to a total count of 70,556 words, which is pretty good. I did delete some words and I was hurt by the deletion, but I guess I'm gonna be hurt a whole lot more because I will not only do I think I will probably be deleting more words as I, continue writing this book, I also will be editing. And editing a whole book is basically deleting and rewriting. But anyway, that did hurt a bit. But the net total of my 2 weeks of writing was 6,978 words, which is 66%. It is 66% of the words that I was writing based on vibes for 6 months. So in 2 weeks, I managed to write 66% of the words that took me 6 months to write, which, what? What? Which again is crazy. Slow and steady, we continue. And that is basically week 2. Still excited, still continuing. I have committed to continue until I finish this novel, and I think I work better with goals where I'm like, okay, cool, you're gonna do these weekly vlogs and also the writing until you get to 90,000 words, actually till I finish the book, which I'm assuming will be around 90,000 words. I will be surprised if it is more, but I will continue till the end. Anyway, that was week 2, which again is a testament to slow and steady plodding instead of trying to do things in huge big bursts and like sit for 6 hours and try to write and then you don't write again for 2 months. So a good week 2, much not as great as week 1, I will say that, but still quite good. And I look forward to week 3. Bye.